Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're discovering the fascinating history of American half-dollar coin. Let's start the video.
Imagine holding in your hand a piece of American history that millions once carried in their pockets. Yet today, many younger generations have never even seen in circulation. A coin that was meant to honor a fallen president, symbolize American resilience, and at the same time, represent the economic and cultural changes of the late 20th century. I'm talking about the 1985 American half-dollar coin, better known as the Kennedy half-dollar. In today's documentary, we'll uncover the fascinating story behind this coin, its origins, its design, the events surrounding its release, why you rarely saw it in your pocket change, and what makes the 1985 issue particularly interesting for collectors today. So sit back, relax, and let's journey into the world of numismatics, history, and America's evolving identity through the lens of the 1985 half-dollar coin. Chapter 1. The Origins of the Half-Dollar. Before diving into 1985, we need to step back in time. The half-dollar has been part of U.S. coinage since the Coinage Act of 1792, which established the U.S. Mint. From the early, flowing hair halves of 1794 to the capped bust design of the 1800s and the elegant walking Liberty half-dollars of the 20th century, this denomination was once a backbone of everyday commerce. But by the mid-20th century, the half-dollar was on the verge of transformation. In 1964, after the shocking assassination of President John F. Kennedy, the U.S. Mint fast-tracked a new design to honor him. The Kennedy half-dollar was born almost overnight, replacing the beloved Franklin half-dollar. It became more than just a coin. It was a symbol of national mourning and remembrance, a tribute that Americans embraced wholeheartedly. Chapter 2. The Kennedy half-dollar legacy. The Kennedy half-dollar, first struck in 1964, carried a 90% silver composition. People hoarded them instantly. Few ever circulated, as many Americans tucked them away as keepsakes. From 1965 onward, the Mint reduced silver content to 40%, then completely removed silver by 1971, transitioning to the copper-nickel Clad coins still used in 1985. By then, the half-dollar had lost much of its role in daily transactions. Inflation, vending machine incompatibility, and public habits pushed it out of circulation. But the Mint continued producing them, largely for collectors, casinos, and nostalgic Americans. Chapter 3. America in 1985. A snapshot. To understand the 1985 Kennedy half-dollar, let's look at the United States in 1985. Ronald Reagan was president. The Cold War was still in full swing, and the economy was experiencing both recovery and rising deficits. Pop culture was dominated by the music of Madonna and Prince, the films of Steven Spielberg, and the beginnings of the computer revolution. The half-dollar coin of 1985 reflected this transitionary era. While fewer Americans used the coin in daily life, it remained a cultural artifact, a bridge between post-war memory and modern America. Chapter 4. The 1985 Kennedy half-dollar. Design. The obverse of the 1985 half-dollar features the iconic profile of John F. Kennedy, designed by Gilroy Roberts, the ninth chief engraver of the U.S. Mint. His rendition, inspired by a portrait he sculpted for Kennedy's presidential medal, captures Kennedy's strength, youth, and charisma. The reverse, designed by Frank Gasparo, depicts the presidential seal, an eagle clutching arrows and an olive branch, surrounded by 50 stars, symbolizing unity and power. This design had remained unchanged since 1964, a mark of its cultural permanence. But for collectors, the 1985 issue had its own unique story. Chapter 5. Minting and Production. The 1985 Kennedy half-dollar was struck at two mints: a Philadelphia Mint, no mint mark; a Denver Mint, D mint mark. Interestingly, no proof versions were made in San Francisco that year. The U.S. Mint had suspended proof sets in 1982 and only resumed them in 1986. That means collectors in 1985 could only acquire the standard circulation strikes, which makes them stand out in numismatic history. Mintages were a Philadelphia, about 18.3 million; A Denver, about 26.3 million. Compared to earlier decades, these numbers were relatively modest, reflecting the coin's declining role in commerce. Chapter 6. Why you rarely saw them in circulation. If you lived in 1985, chances are you didn't get Kennedy half-dollars in change at the grocery store. By the 1970s and 1980s, banks ordered fewer half-dollars because businesses and vending machines rarely accepted them. Many sat in vaults, were rolled for collectors, or sent to casinos in Las Vegas and Atlantic City, where the half-dollar remained popular at slot machines. The coin had become a collector's item more than a circulating currency, a curious fate for a denomination that once played such a vital role in commerce. Chapter 7. Collector value and rarity. So what about the 1985 half-dollar today? In circulated condition, it's still only worth 50 cents. But in high grades, especially mint state 65 or higher, the coin can fetch $15 to $40, depending on quality and demand. A pristine MS-67 example may reach several $100s at auction. The real rarity, however, lies in errors and varieties. Off-center strikes, double dies, and misaligned mint marks are sought after by specialists, because there were no proofs that sharp, uncirculated examples carry added appeal. Chapter 8. Symbolism and memory. The Kennedy half-dollar, even in 1985, was more than just a coin. It represented America's enduring admiration for John F. Kennedy, a leader cut down in his prime but immortalized in metal. For older Americans, it was a reminder of a hopeful, youthful presidency. For younger collectors, it was a gateway into numismatics, an affordable way to own a piece of history. And for the nation, it remained a symbol of continuity, a design that bridged generations. Chapter 9. The half-dollar in decline. By the late 1980s, the half-dollar was on life support as a circulating coin, while mintages continued into the 1990s and 2000s. The denomination never regained its former prominence. Today, it survives largely as a collector coin, sold directly by the US Mint in rolls and bags. The 1985 issue marks this transitional period, still struck in significant numbers, but already fading from everyday use. Chapter 10. Final reflections. The 1985 Kennedy half-dollar may not be the rarest or most valuable coin in American history, but it tells a powerful story. It represents the enduring tribute to a beloved president, the shift of US coinage from circulation to collectability, the cultural and economic transitions of 1980s America. So the next time you come across a Kennedy half-dollar from 1985, don't just see it as pocket change. See it as a fragment of a larger story, of a nation's memory, its coinage traditions, and its ongoing dialogue between history and everyday life. Coins are not just metal. They are history you can hold. And the 1985 half-dollar reminds us that even the most ordinary coin can carry extraordinary meaning. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you enjoyed this exploration into the history of the 1985 half-dollar, be sure to like, subscribe, and share with fellow history enthusiasts. Until next time, keep collecting, keep learning, and keep history alive, one coin at a time. See you next time.